All right, joining me now, Ariel Helwani. Ariel, how are you?
It's great to be here with you. It's great to be here. Our first in-person chat when I'm a guest on your show. Yes. You were a guest on my show in person. We had Larry O.B. there. Mm-hmm. We were flying high about the Knicks. Everything came crashing down shortly thereafter.
Are you still flying high today?
Oh, we
now?
were, but in that moment.
But in new season, are you now flying high? 8-5 to start. Mike Brown, new head coach. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Obviously, hate the fact that Jalen's injured as we're speaking right now. Didn't play
as well.
No OG. Almost won that game. I really feel like we had multiple, I say we, but that's just the way I am. Okay. We had multiple opportunities to win that game at the end. Cat's fade away at the buzzer looked great. So I hate losing to the Heat. I will always hate the Heat. I loved how we played against the Heat on Friday. Landry Shamet out of his mind. Ian Eagle with the great call. I mean, Eagle was phenomenal during that game. Nets guy, shout out to him. But overall, I feel very good about the team. I love our depth. I love the way McBride is playing. Clarkson's been solid. I'll say the one surprise, honestly, has been Yabusele. I had very, very high hopes, and I still do, but he hasn't quite been as good as I thought he was going to be out of the gate. It's only 13 games in. We're very good at home. We're not so good on the road right now. Big road trip coming up. We're now game 1 of 5, but there's there's like Hornets, Mavericks, so we should hopefully do pretty well by the end of it. Overall, feeling pretty good, and I like Mike Brown. I consider him somewhat of an acquaintance, so I'm supporting him and rooting for him, and I hope that he succeeds.
What are your early thoughts on the changes he's made to the system?
Well, they're playing a lot quicker. They're moving the ball. I like that very much. Like I said, they're deeper. He's using the bench. There was a moment there where he was going like 10 deep. I think he's shortened it up a little bit to where it's like more like 8. Tyler Kolek getting a lot. Can I just say, I can't stand these courts. I mean, it's like the bane.
NBA Cup
it's
courts.
The bane of my existence. I'm sorry, it's just one shot there, but truly the bane of my existence. But I like the movement. I like how free-flowing it is, especially in this game against the Heat on Friday. I mean, they were running up and down the court. I'm a little old school in that, like, I don't love chucking that many threes. And I know they're saying, like, no, this is what we want, and we're happy with it, and God bless. It's not my like the brand of basketball that I grew up loving were the 90s Knicks. This couldn't be any more different than the 90s Knicks. And I'm not suggesting that they play 90s Knicks, hard hat, lunch pail, tough, rugged defense. It's a lot of threes. But as you're seeing here, like this is a run and gun style offense and very different than the one that we saw last year, which I think is made for some fun games.
I mean, some numbers behind what you just said. Last season, the Knicks were 27th in the NBA with catch and shoot threes, 23.9 per game. This season, second in the NBA catch and shoot threes per game, 32.2. Some other big changes. Drives per game went from 16th last year to 6th per game this year.
Love it.
Last season, attacking closeouts to catch the ball behind the three-point line, attacking to the paint. Last season, 24th per game. This season, 7th per game, from 41 to 53 per game. Passes per game, 23rd to 5th.
Wow.
I mean, what a dramatic difference a coaching change can make.
How do you feel about it?
I think it's overall positive.
You think it's working?
Yeah, I do think it's overall positive. I think like the numbers, the results are going to be pretty similar to what it was before, but I think come playoff time, all these layers added to the offense, I think they just add so much more diversity in the half court that makes you harder to defend, harder to stop come playoff time.
I agree.
And ultimately, I think that wasn't exactly why the Knicks fell short, but I think it's one of the reasons why, and I think that's why the front office made the decision that they did. And so to see all these numbers this early, I mean that's a dramatic change.
No, it's unbelievable.
From 23rd to 5th in passes per game, 27th to 2nd in catch and shoot threes per game. It might be too much what you want stylistically, but it's a nice improvement from 27th at the least.
To me, the most exciting thing for me is the bench production. Like there was a game I think it might have been the Heat game, or maybe it was the Memphis game, where I think we had like 65 bench points and we had nothing more than like, I think 52. And that was like an anomaly last year. Like the bench was awful, especially in the playoffs. The Pacers killed us when it came to bench production. So that has been really good. I mean, I think we could go legit 9-10 deep. And, we had Brogdon there for a second and I was like, wow, Malcolm Brogdon is our 10th man. This is crazy. Who knows what happened with that one? But overall, that's been amazing. And, the health I don't know what it is. Every time OG like goes on a fast break, I always think he's going to get injured. There's something about the way he runs and falls. I always get worried. I get worried about Jalen all the time. It seems like at least once every 3 games, Jalen will fall. He'll twist an ankle. He'll go to the back. Then we'll have a shot of Rick Brunson following him to the back. Then Knicks Twitter will freak out. I will freak out. I'll say the season's over. We're never going to win a championship. And then he'll miraculously come back like nothing's happened. Like this legit happens once every 3 games. It's crazy. This time it was actually serious and hopefully not too serious. Hopefully he comes back next game. I don't know what the latest is. I haven't been on Twitter today, but hopefully he comes back. And overall, yeah, I think it's been great. And there's just little things about Coach Brown that I appreciate. Like I love to watch everything. So I think it was the Memphis game where he like sat down and he gave a shout out to all the assistant coaches. And you don't often see coaches do that. And this is like little nerdy stuff that I just enjoy as a fan, but it does seem like the vibes are good. And I'll be honest, the vibes weren't great at the beginning. Remember that Cat press conference where he was like
so odd,
ho-humming and
what's
like,
my role? I don't know my role. I'm confused.
I did not like that. Seems like he's happy now.
That made me sour on the team right before the even the season. I was like, what is this?
1,000%.
Cat doing this?
1,000%. 8-5 isn't the best. I'm shocked by the Raptors. Like, I did not see this coming right now from the Raptors, and who knows if they can keep it up. But I think we'll win the Atlantic. And I think top to bottom, we're the best team in the Eastern Conference. Like, I'm not impressed with Cleveland. I'm not worried about Detroit.
Really? Not at all.
I mean, they're good.
Yeah.
But do I favor us?
Not seasoned in the way that the Knicks.
No. Kate Cunningham's shooting 45 shots. He's making 14 or something like that. It's crazy.
It's a vintage
against the
90s,
Wizards.
You don't want catch and shoot threes. You also don't want inefficient, high-scoring games.
That was an interesting game, that Wizards game. I was watching that on Peacock. They're a good team. There's no doubt about it. And Duncan Robinson's a good addition. They lost some pieces as well. No Beasley. No Tim Hardaway Jr., who I despised. So I'm not worried about that. There's some good teams. Philly, they're there.
The Cavs? You haven't mentioned them.
The
You're not worried about the Cavs? No?
There's obviously going to be some threats. I think we can beat the Cavs in a 7-game series.
How about if the Celtics get Tatum back?
Is that a thing? I don't really think so. You think he comes back?
I think there's a chance. Yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. They're not ruling it out, so why should I rule it out?
I know. But like, okay, if you're a Celtics fan, he's not coming back in 2025, right? He'll come back
2026 at some point. Whether it's March or whether it's October. It's
exactly.
Yeah.
So, but my point is, if you're a Celtics fan and you guys are like 9th in February, why bring him back? What's the point? Why risk it? Why risk it?
But why not? What if they're around 500 or a little bit above 500?
Doesn't it seem too soon for an Achilles injury, like to come back that quickly?
Maybe.
Or was it not a full tear? Where we led astray.
It was. And so that's the thing. It's like, so Tatum wants to be like Kobe, right?
Yeah.
He wants to come back. The thing with Kobe is people forget he came back in 7 months and then he immediately got hurt.
Yes.
And he was out for the remainder of the season. So you need to be cautious. You shouldn't rush back. He shouldn't rush back. But if like 10
also,
doctors...
much younger than Kobe.
Much younger when it happened, yes. But like if every doctor says it's okay for him to come back, and if it's true that like the surgery's improved since Kobe had that, since he also had the surgery immediately, then maybe you think about it. Maybe you do.
You think about it, but I'm not worried about them. I'm not sweating those guys. You think the Knicks should be worried about the Celtics?
I don't think they should be worried about the Celtics because I don't think you should worry about things that aren't in your control.
Sure.
And like that's just so far down the line. It's a big if. It shouldn't even be a thought on your mind. But if you are talking about teams that could be a threat come April, May, June, or April, May in the East, well, maybe
the crazy thing is like if you end up being a 1 seed and they're an 8 seed, and that's like they could end up being an 8 seed and like the worst kind of 8 seed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You want to avoid.
Not your typical like Atlanta Hawks or Miami Heat last year, Chicago Bulls. Like you do not want to play those guys in the first round, right?
Yeah.
I'm dealing with this right now with my Buffalo Bills where it's like, are we going to have to play the Chiefs in the first round? Is that what we're trending towards? Are you a Patriots fan, by the way?
Yes, I am.
Oh my God.
I plan on asking you about that.
Yeah,
how's it feel to be in second place again?
It's fine. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried about you guys.
Josh Allen got 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Still
that was
second
cool.
place though.
That's fine. I know you guys are excited. You're back, all this stuff.
Yeah.
This is a basketball pod, all right? This is a basketball pod.
It is. But the Knicks, I mean, ultimately, I think for you guys, it's fair to feel like you're the favorites in the East.
Yeah.
It's fair.
I don't love 8-5. Like, I wish we were like 11-3 or something. I don't love the record, especially on the road. The next 4 games, like we need to go 4-0 in the next 4 on the road.
So this is what you want to see with those guys out. You still need to see the team winning.
Absolutely. I mean, look what we did against the Heat. I know that was at home, but OG went out early. Jalen didn't play. McBride was great. Cat was great. Again, Landry Shamet. Shamet is the perfect guy for this Mike Brown system. He's been phenomenal. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but my son is like, oh, look at this. Power rankings. Number 4. Okay, I'll take it. Look at that. Above Detroit, despite the fact that we have 2 more losses. You know, when you're a kid, like you have like this, you always have like that one dude that like one irrational love on your favorite team. Like he's usually, like I always loved Hubert Davis. And wouldn't you know it, Hubert Davis was number 44 for the Knicks back in the day. Landry Shamet is 44. My son adores Landry Shamet. Like he will go and argue with anyone that Landry Shamet is that guy. And so on Friday, as he explodes for like 35 points, I was like, wow, maybe Landry Shamet is that guy. You know, it was nice to see.
He has his moments for sure. Hey, did you see the latest news on the Clippers with what came out of the Post earlier this week?
Which one?
So there was a story published by the Post, which included some text messages from Johnny Wilkes, who's a friend of Dennis Robertson and Robinson and Kawhi Leonard and
Uncle
whatnot.
Dennis.
Uncle Dennis, yes. There's a text exchange.
Okay.
I just want to get your thoughts on this. Jerry West texted Johnny Wilkes, who helped facilitate the conversation, between Kawhi and the Clippers. And he said, Jerry West said, just wanted to thank you for your help. This was in the hours before the meeting between Kawhi and the Clippers. Wilkes responded, please tell everyone to pitch life after basketball to Kawhi. That's what he really wants to hear. And then West wrote, if he would go to the Lakers, he would be LeBron's caddy. Wilkes responded, F the Lakers. This is between you and Toronto. And then in the days after that meeting, West on July 4th said, when can we expect the decision? Don't want to be a pest and frankly don't want to bother Dennis anymore. If you hear anything, please let me know. Thank you for all your help. Wilkes responded, we'll call you later. We'll talk to Dennis again. That night, according to the Post, Wilkes texted Uncle Dennis that he had talked with West. There was a 3-way call about a proposal for, quote, Ballmer to fund the Kawhi marketing campaign. Robertson didn't respond, and Wilkes told the Post the proposal never came to fruition. In an interview, Watson denied the call took place when shown his own texts with Wilkes about the call. Watson said he didn't recall the exchange. The Clippers declined to comment. The next day, Ballmer texted West, where do you think your guy is leaning? Could not get any indication. West wrote back to Ballmer. 2 days later, Kawhi signs with the Clippers. It's not a smoking gun.
By the way, how did they get this?
It seems like
Johnny the text messages.
I'm not exactly sure how they got some of these texts, but Wilkes, according to the Post, provided them 2 voicemails. I would assume some of these texts may also be from him as well.
Yeah,
but it's not a smoking gun. None of this is so far, but it all feels like it's all building towards a lot of evidence against the Clippers. What are your whole thoughts on this whole saga?
The thing is crazy because I remember this story very well. Raptors. I have an affinity towards the Raptors just because they're the lone Canadian team. I was happy to see them win. It was great with Kawhi. And I really thought after they won that he was going to stick around and come back for at least one more year. I thought he could sign like a 1-year deal, try to repeat. Yeah. And then if it doesn't work out, you can go and do your thing in LA. And if you recall, all of a sudden he was like showing up to Blue Jays games and it really seemed like he was embracing Toronto. It was like, oh, wow, this is going to happen. And obviously we know what happened here. I mean, shout out to Pablo Torre. The reporting has been tremendous. It has been phenomenal. And they're definitely, I feel like we're long past the smoking gun stage at this point with like everything that he's unearthed with this, what is the name of this company?
Aspiration.
Yeah. Yes. This whole thing.
Like carbon credits and whatnot.
my honestly, like when I first heard about it, I always sort of assumed like there have always been these sort of like sweetheart deals or like fan or team friendly deals. And like, so you always kind of assume like, is there something else going on where they're offsetting this in another way? He has it in black and white. My big question is like, how often is this actually happening in the NBA? And I don't know if that will get unearthed, but I feel like there's a lot of smoke to this fire. I believe everything that Pablo has said and reported, and I feel like Ballmer showing up on ESPN like a day later or 2 days later to address this and not address it with the guy who broke the story, because that guy is armed with all the information, I thought was a very telling sign. He tried to get ahead of it. I don't think he did a great job of getting ahead of it. And I feel like there's just more and more stuff that is coming out that would lead one to believe that there was something amiss here.
It's all trickling very slowly. And it's like not like this is just a new thing. 5 years ago when Kawhi first made the decision, there's stuff about oh, he asked them to buy him a house, right? That was all public stuff, like rumors and whatnot, and nothing came of it. But it's not like this is a new thing. These demands in Kawhi's camp with Uncle Dennis and all that was a whole thing years ago.
Oh, yeah.
We've known about this character for a long time now. Like, will the NBA want to open up this can of worms? That, to your point about, do other teams do this? Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
It feels like
other teams probably do it. And so would they want to put a harsh penalty on the Clippers for one of the 10 richest guys who could, in theory, clap back and say, you're going to do this to me?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I know about everybody else.
Do you think this has tarnished Kawhi's legacy or his reputation?
I don't know. I think the fact he's the face of load management is tarnishment enough. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get worse than that.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't play. It's not all his fault. Some of the injuries are out of his control.
Right.
But
it hasn't been a great.
He is the face of load management. But you also saw him in Toronto. I remember being in the locker room for that finals between the Raptors and the Warriors and him limping through like an old man while being a warrior on the court. So I saw that guy win an NBA Finals by clearly playing through something serious and walked through the locker room with a major limp, and he still was out there. So you know what Kawhi is capable of doing. So I don't want to knock him too much for injuries that, it's too bad. But he is the face of load management.
So you think that's a greater knock on his legacy and reputation than this?
I mean, how much of this is him versus Uncle Dennis doing some nefarious stuff, and I don't know.
You think doing it without his consent or knowledge?
Like the Ohtani stuff?
I was literally just going to, and obviously very different.
Very different.
But yeah,
could be. I mean, we don't know all the details. Ultimately, we don't.
100%. I find it sometimes hard to believe that it's sort of like to a degree, it's sort of like when guys say like, oh, I didn't know that, was in that pill that I took, right? And I'm like, like your body is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You best know. And if you didn't know, then you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, and so I feel like they kind of know everything that's going on. I don't think that their head is in the sand when it comes to these things. There's too much money. There's too much at stake. Their reputation and these guys care about what people think of them. And so I don't think that they're just going to now this is different. Uncle Dennis, they've been, they're thick as thieves and all that stuff. But like, I have a hard time believing that things are happening without his knowledge.
Yeah, I would think so. And I mean, that's the whole thing with like, people got mad on social media for Pablo Torre suggesting, well, Ty Lue's connected to all of like Chauncey Billups stuff. He's always popping up in these stories, and people got mad at him for connecting Ty Lue and Chauncey Billups when Billups is the one being arrested. Ty Lue, so far, no evidence of him doing anything wrong. Exactly. So people got mad at Pablo for that. With that said, though, if you're best friends, you probably know your buddy's doing something nefarious
to a degree.
To a degree. Yeah, maybe not to that extent.
Sure.
You might have an idea.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's been a fascinating year as far as this reporting is concerned.
Crazy.
And how it all is tying together. By the way, shout out to the Blazers, man. I enjoy watching the Blazers. I'm a big Denny Avdia fan.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like they haven't really missed a beat. Last I checked, they were like 8th.
They look better with Splitter.
Yeah. Like imagine
maybe
losing.
The coach was doing more than we even know.
But it was weird. I watched their one game recently. It was them against the Magic, and it was actually the game that the Magic came back and won, like at the buzzer. But Splitter and Bjorkgren were both like standing at the same time, and as the story is, like Bjorkgren didn't want to take the job because he's close with Billups, right?
I believe so, yeah.
But it felt like he really wants the job, and so like to see two guys standing was a little bit weird. But yes, they have looked good, and I really enjoy watching Avdia play. He's been amazing.
He's so versatile.
Yeah.
He does everything on the floor. He's a great defensive player, versatile. He can handle the ball from the perimeter.
Amazing.
Cut off ball, move, screen,
I watched all of the Eurobasket. I was so into the Eurobasket. We were in Europe.
It was fun this year.
It was so much fun. And he did such a great job for Israel. And like I thought he really shined. They ended up losing to Greece in the quarterfinals. But no, in the 16, in the whatever they called it, the Sweet 16. But I think he could be like one of the most improved players in the league at the end of the year.
We got news today that Giannis is going to be out for 1 to 2 weeks for the Bucks. They've slipped a little bit after a fast start with the Bucks in the state of the Eastern Conference. Do you fear them at all? Do you fear the deer, Ariel?
They did beat us earlier this year, but that was on the road. Any team that has Giannis, especially like the Giannis who played at Eurobasket, was phenomenal. And I know that the competition is a little bit less than. I think they got better. Obviously, Miles Turner made them better. They lost Lillard. Kuzma, I think they're a solid like 6 or 7 seed. I don't think that they're ultimately, but you know how these things go. Like I would not love to play them in a second round series. You know what I mean?
Because they have Giannis. They're the best player in a series.
Yes.
And it's always
so
scary.
I would not love, but I'm not like worried about them. I think he's unbelievable. It's very hard to stop him. His physicality is tremendous, but I don't consider them like the creme de la creme. You know, I don't consider them one of the elite. It's such a weird, like I feel like, look at Indiana, right? Obviously we knew, but did we think that they'd be this bad?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
It's just, I feel like all of this is going to reset next year when these guys come back. So it's just, that's why as a Knicks fan, I'm like living and dying with all these games because I'm like, it will never be this easy.
The window's open.
Yes. At least to make it to the finals.
Yeah.
Denver is amazing.
And then OKC, Denver.
OKC, I don't know what.
you might be out of luck at
but
that
you know,
point.
like, and I'm not wishing for this, but you know, guys get hurt. Like, you just want to be there. You just want to have a chance.
Indiana just went to a game 7.
Yes.
Like, you were in it. You had an opportunity. And by the way, there's no guarantee that OKC will even be there. They went to a game 7 last year against Denver. They could lose. You never know. It could 100%. End up, you know, Houston in the finals versus the Knicks.
94 rematch.
It could be, right? You could get a rematch
I'll take
decades later.
I'd be delighted if it's Houston.
You never know. And so, like, as long as you're there, you have an opportunity, right? And so I think ultimately the Knicks are in that conversation. Maybe the favorites in the East, but maybe not. I still want to see them.
Who would you say is right now? Cleveland?
I'll still lean towards Cleveland still.
But it's like...
But it's
a toss-up.
Very close. It's a real toss-up among a couple teams, for sure. And we'll see who makes moves, right? The Pistons have all their picks. Could they go get a guy? Who knows? We'll see what teams make changes in February at the deadline. Well, this is fun talking basketball. Hopefully our Patriots...
Can I ask you one last question? Yes. One last question. How do you feel... This is something I'm fascinated about. I don't want to keep you too long, but how do you feel about the new TV coverage?
It's been great.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Breath of fresh air, right?
Breath of fresh air. I think it's raising the bar for what's possible. I love what Amazon's doing, the chemistry with those guys. Blake Griffin's been great on the broadcast. I think that whole crew, Dirk, his whole rant about the Mavericks, it's just honest, emotional, authentic. And Steve Nash is great. Everybody at NBA on NBC, I love the fact they're doing these pregame hype videos. You know, these
Marv last week.
Marv was great. I mean, it's
Costas,
it's just, it makes the games feel bigger.
Important.
Right?
You're watching an NBC game on a Tuesday. As you know, we're around the same age. Like, that music just like puts me in a different place. I get chills.
And I love how they
changed
the aspect ratio. They zoom
so
in
good.
4:3
NBC has hit it out of the park. I'm a big Melo fan. I think Melo's going to be a great analyst. Vince and T-Mac, I'm biased. Vince and T-Mac have been great.
It's like they tailor-made this for you.
I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. The interesting thing about putting the analyst next to the bench.
So different.
But I appreciate them trying something different.
I think just keep trying stuff.
Yes.
Try something new all the time.
The Rivers interview yesterday was very fun. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Oh, yeah. It was very fun.
Yeah. It was Rivers, Austin interviewing.
Yes,
I didn't see it, but I saw like a photo.
Very fun. Very, very fun. That was cool. I just feel like they're trying. And then, I felt for a long time that Inside the NBA was getting so stale. And the thing that was bothering me the most about it was so negative all the time. I'll never forget, it's Eastern Conference Finals. It's game 1 in New York. And it's like, da-na-da-da-da-da-da. And it's cut to those guys in the rafters. And like the first thing out of their mouth is complaining about where they're sitting at MSG. Like, yo, man, I'm a fan. I'm hyped. We're back. I don't care where you're sitting. It's not about you.
The skybox? Is that what they were?
Yes. It's not about you. No one cares.
I'm going to MSG tonight. I don't know if I get the lower bowl or the skybox, but I won't be complaining to social media. I'm there.
You are privileged.
I'm very lucky.
You're privileged.
I'm very lucky.
They felt like they were bigger than the broadcast, bigger than the game. And like that whole year-long celebration, only to come back and look the same. I know they're not on every night, but look, the show looks the same. But I'll say like the heat is on them because I feel like everything else feels like it's a breath of fresh air right now. And they're still playing the same old hits. And Ernie to me is the best, but the other guys, like, they need to raise their game because the youngsters are coming in, meaning like the young analysts and the young eyes, and it's making their coverage very stale, in my opinion.
Interesting. I mean, I think it's like a different strokes for different folks type of thing, and like some people still like the humor and joking about it, but at the same time, I think there's a mix.
There's a mix.
You want to entertain and educate. That's always my goal.
Yes.
Like with every pod I do, it's like I want to entertain and educate, and I think like that's where Amazon is doing a great job. That's where NBA and NBC is doing a great job. It's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
And I think with TNT now moving to ESPN, I hope those guys I still want to hear Shaq breaking down. I want to hear Charles and Kenny Smith breaking things down. They have years of experience as players. They have it in them, even if they haven't played for years.
Yeah, just chilling all the other stuff. Legler is a nice addition, I think.
He's excellent. He's so good.
Breen is still my favorite. I adore Mike Breen. We're very lucky to have Ian Eagle.
The broadcast crews are really good.
Oh my God. Yeah. Ian Eagle and Stan have been great.
Yes.
Really, really good.
I really like Brent Barry as a color commentator.
Brent Barry's been really good.
Yes.
Yeah. I've loved it. I felt like the NBA needed this. I really felt like the NBA needed this. And it feels reinvigorated. I love that there's a game almost every night on some big platform.
Yes. It actually worked out. I was a little worried about, different platform every night, but it feels like there's something big every night.
Yes.
It's I don't know. It seems like an improvement after actually experiencing
I'm very excited.
it.
I think it's been great. I'm really pleased. And yeah, just seeing NBC back, like I just sit there and watch everything, and I'm like, I can't believe it's NBA Showtime, and I can't believe that music, and it's just amazing. And the little tip of the caps to the old days.
Yes.
I can't wait for even like people are complaining about the Jordan stuff. I don't care. It's 4 minutes of Jordan at halftime.
Also,
great.
It's cool.
Yeah, man.
It's cool. It's Michael Jordan.
Yes.
How often do you get to hear Michael Jordan talking about anything?
It's great.
It's great.
Tariq's
4 minutes
been
is
awesome.
a long time.
Yeah.
Tariq's been great. And you know who I want to hear doing one of those cool pregame intros soon? Noah Eagle.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a great voice.
He's
awesome voice. Let's have the new generation do some of those as well. In addition to the older generation.
Yeah, for sure.
All we got to do is get rid of the courts, right? That's all you want to do.
The NBA Cup courts are awful. If you're listening to NBA, please stop. Like, you watch a Sixers game and it's like bright red. What is that? The Knicks blue is like, it's sacrilegious to do that to MSG. It really is. And please, also the city one, like the Kith stuff is just too much. There's too much going on the court. They try to do this thing like this, like in soccer where there's like 8 jerseys and there's different court. Like, stop. White at home, dark on the road. That's it. Enough.
Yes.
We don't need. Then in the late 90s, you remember when the Bulls brought like the black? There was like one off one, and they only used it like 10 times. The black that was cool. Or like when the Magic introduced like the light blue, they had black, they had white, and then that's fine. But like now all these weird colors.
One alternate. That's all you want. And then one alternate.
Like game one, it's OKC against the Rockets. OKC's wearing their road blue, and the Rockets are wearing their road white. Their road red. There's no white. It's blue and red. These are 2 dark colors.
I can't imagine being colorblind for some of these games.
I'm actually colorblind.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Wow.
And it annoys me because I'm like,
God.
it gives me a headache. The Knicks should always wear white at home and blue on the road. That's it.
There was a game earlier this season between the Bucks and the Mavericks where the Mavericks wore green.
Oh my God.
It doesn't make any sense.
I hate it. It drives me nuts.
Sense.
Last night the Knicks wore white on the road and it pissed me off. They're in Miami. They should not be wearing white.
Yeah, I'm with you.
These things bother me.
To me, that's something the NBA needs to address next. The broadcasts have been upgraded significantly.
Yes.
Next up is tradition, jerseys, being able to, you turn on the TV, the teams you're watching.
These
you don't mix up
courts.
Dallas with Milwaukee.
Yes, the Dallas like city court is it's like the colors are so weird. And I loved last year. I was actually hopeful because when it got to the conference finals, they said no more city jerseys. And then finals, so it was Knicks and Pacers were wearing like their classics. I was like, oh, maybe they're seeing the light. Then you get to the finals and the court has no branding. And then they tried to fix it midway with the CGI. So now they come out, oh, breaking news, Shams, they're going to have the big trophy in the middle. I don't really care for the trophy in the middle. I like the old school, like 1994 NBA finals. Yeah. That's nice. I love that. But like I adore the NBA. I'm the biggest NBA fan, but some of these things are driving me nuts. And nothing more than the NBA Cup. I don't mind the NBA Cup as a concept, although my big thing is I wish the Euro teams were involved.
I think eventually that's the vision.
Think so?
I think like right now, this is just a baby version of what Adam Silver wants to do. Oh, he wants to eventually
Let's get like Real Madrid. Let's get Barcelona.
Maybe then, but also eventually when the NBA launches their European league.
Okay.
Then those teams where like then it can be a
now we get to see
month-long thing. That's what they eventually
what they're trying to copy is the FA Cup. And in the FA Cup, you'll have like Man City playing some like League 2 team.
Yes,
that's cool. The magic. Yes. Seeing the Bucks and the Knicks play in the NBA Cup is not that cool.
It's like Duke, the age-old question, like Duke versus the Wizards, or like in college football, Alabama versus worst team in the league.
That's what I feel like
can they beat them? It's like probably not, but maybe.
Yes,
I would love to see it. Right, and I think over time that's what the NBA.
Okay.
So right now it just feels almost too small for it to matter, but I think eventually it's going to build into something much larger where it becomes a true event. And maybe change. I was originally cool with the courts.
Like the courts?
I originally.
Now?
But now I'm at the point where it's like, I like some of the courts they have are like a regular court color with just different look. Like, why not just
But
do
this
that?
whole thing where it's like painted a different color is insanity.
Get rid of it.
And the trophy in the middle. The fact that they would put the trophy in the middle for NBA Cup and not for the NBA Finals is insanity.
Blew my mind last year. But this year, I'm glad they're bringing back the Larry O.B. for the NBA Finals, and maybe it'll be your Knicks there. Maybe. And maybe in January, we'll see Patriots-Bills in the playoffs.
I don't think you want that.
Yeah, maybe
I don't think you want. We got one more against you guys. That was an awful. By the way, speaking of that game and jerseys, we were wearing those like stupid white jerseys, which I actually blame for the loss. Anytime my team wears the weirdo jerseys, like the Knicks used to wear like these orange ones and green ones.
Patriots have had no issues with their alternates. This year.
Okay. Sorry, nice to be you guys. I still believe the best player on the field when they play is number 17. We have many problems with our defense and wide receivers.
Should have traded for a wideout. Why didn't they give up the first round pick for Waddle?
I would have done I would have given away 3.
I don't get
for
it.
him.
Why?
This is the window. This is the time.
What are they waiting for?
I don't know. It's been very frustrating.
I don't get it.
My take on the Bills is I love Coach McDermott, but I do wonder if they've reached as far as they can go with him. And I always bring up Dwayne Casey on the Raptors. He won the Coach of the Year, and they made the call to fire him and bring in Nick Nurse. And sometimes you have to make, and obviously they had Kawhi, but like sometimes you have to make that move. And I wonder if like 13 seconds against the Chiefs a couple of years ago, losing to the Bengals at home a couple of years ago, losing to the Chiefs at home like they've had many opportunities. With Josh Allen has the best playoff record for anyone who has never made the Super Bowl, and that's egregious. He's too good to not have been at least in the Super Bowl at this point. So yeah, when I watched that game, I was like, oh, wow, like Drake May looks like Josh Allen. Like the way he was scrambling and making something out of nothing, he's very good. And so I'm just being like bitter Bills fan right now. But I still love my guys, and I'm not jumping off the bandwagon. I know everyone was jumping off after last week's loss to the Dolphins.
Yeah,
we were fine.
Then you get rid of Coleman and, bench him.
I'm done with Coleman.
Not serious. Did you see him dancing before the game? He does not care.
Release that guy. I'm done with him. The
reshaped wide receiver room could be a lot better.
Yeah, Shavers. Bring back Gabe Davis.
Yeah, old school.
Gabe Davis.
Bring him back.
4 touchdowns against the Chiefs. I'll never forget it. That 13-second game. I thought he stamped it with that last one. Yeah, I mean, we still have James Cook. Best running back in the AFC, in my opinion. I know that's a hot take, but
he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, so I love the Bills and I love the Knicks. I'm also a Blue Jays fan, so it's been like it's been a tough 10 months for me in that like all my teams make it very far and then break my Bills against Chiefs, AFC Championship in January. Then we move to the Knicks choking against the Pacers, like a choke job, epic choke job in the first game, and then everything was, lose the second game, and then you're swimming upstream. And then, of course, we know what just happened with the Jays. So
sports is pain, isn't it?
I told my kids, I'm like, you pick all the bad teams. I'm like, would you rather I told you to be like a Rockies, Browns, and Hornets fan? You know what I mean? At least we're in it.
Does that fan exist?
No,
Rockies,
but I was trying
Browns,
to think of like all the worst teams.
There's at least one.
It's possible.
There's 8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah, what if you're a Hornets, Panthers, and Carolina Hurricanes fan or something? You know what I mean? Like, I'm bringing you to the dance. We're just not getting over the hump, but our time is coming.
I think it'll come eventually. Maybe this will be the year for the Bills.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ariel, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Up next, we have Molly Morrison. You may know her if you're very online on social media. She also has her Substack under Molly Morrison. We're going to talk about the Grizzlies, Jokic, and a lot else going on around the NBA that's coming up right now. All right, joining me today to talk NBA, Molly Morrison. Molly, how are you?
I am great. Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm excited to have you on. You just launched your own Substack, which has been great. We're going to discuss some of those stories later, but we have to start off with some of the latest news with a game of good news, bad news, because there's a lot of good news, a lot of bad news right now in the NBA. Let's start with the bad news. Victor Wembanyama suffered a calf injury. He's going to be out for a few weeks, according to the Spurs. Now, a few weeks, Molly, that's 10 more games until the break in the schedule during the NBA Cup. So that would be 11 missed games on the season for Wemby. We're already at the point where he could only miss 6 more games at that point to be eligible for Defensive Player of the Year and everything. What a bummer. One of the best stories in the league. Now Dylan Harper out. Now Victor Wembanyama out.
Yeah, that rule will be changed after this season.
I think so.
If it prevents Wemby from winning Defensive Player of the Year, there's no way. They can't keep that because then history, there's no world in which Wemby is not Defensive Player of the Year. It's one thing if a guy misses 2/3 of the season, but to miss 25 games, and we saw what you could do on that end, I'm like more worried about that than I am for the actual Spurs. I mean, their defense will suffer. They will suffer overall. But for me, Wemby is so freaking good. He's so freaking good, and I expected such a leap this season that I actually had him. I wanted to be hipster and different, and I had him as my MVP pick. That's not going to happen. Jokic is Jokic. SGA is SGA. But Defensive Player of the Year is a way to reward him for just the ridiculous things he's doing. And the fact that this could mean he doesn't get it does piss me off.
And all NBA as well. I mean, if you play 62 games or whatever, like you're not eligible even for that. I mean, look, I was in support of that rule when they added it. I was in support of it because I feel like you should have incentive to play games.
Yeah.
You're getting paid these guys like 50, 60 million, sometimes $70 million to play half the games. And, Tom Haberstroh posted an article on his Substack, Tom the Finder, where he talked about how so far in the NBA, injuries, players, NBA stars are missing twice as many games as they did in the 23-24 season. Wemby Ja now out on Tuesday night on NBC.
Right.
He wrote, "It's gotten so bad that nearly half of all NBA stars are injured now."
Yeah.
It's just like it's wild this early season. Are players just taking off until December when the season really begins, or is just this just bad luck early in the year?
I mean, they play so much, and it's such a whereas baseball they're playing all the time, but the game isn't quite as physical as the NBA. Of course, they're going to get injured. Like, I am actually a believer in a shortened season. I also am a realist, and I know that's not going to happen, and I'm not out here rallying for it to happen because I
probably should.
I think
not just for injuries, but like quality games matter more.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not an NFL fan, but the thing I envy the most about the NFL is the way that these games are on the same nights. There's a few nights a week that everyone's watching the same things. I hate 12-game slates. They're fun, but none of us are watching the same thing. I love nights where there's just one game, another game, another game, 3 games. My favorite slates, we're all watching the same games. You risk the blowouts, the not fun games, but when you're a real sicko, you enjoy watching every team. And I just think that's how people learn about players. That's how people actually watch games.
For sure. And I think, look, we're recording this on Tuesday afternoon. We haven't seen the Wemby-less Spurs and the Ja-less Grizzlies face off on Tuesday night, but like that game's just going to have a hell of a lot less interest with these guys out there. And I'm sorry, like, you people aren't tuning in for Zach Edey against Luke Cornett as much as they would be Wemby defending a Ja Morant pick and roll.
They took Hawks Pistons off of to put Wemby and Ja on, which obviously backfired. They should be able to put it back.
With the Pistons as winners of 10 wins in a row. We'll talk Grizzlies and Pistons a little bit later. Good news from last night. Paul George debuted for the Sixers. Bad news, he wasn't great. 9 points on 9 shots, but it's good news that he's back. Philly, a weird team.
Yes.
Because I think with the Sixers, VJ Edgecombe got off to a scorching hot start. Joel Embiid, poor start, pretty good since then on a per-minute basis. Do you see the Sixers as a team that, with a healthy Paul George and hopefully with a healthy Embiid, as a team that does deserve still finals consideration? You do?
Yes. I love the East this season, which is the first year in so long that I'm saying that. And it makes me sad that teams like the Pacers and the Celtics, you never know, don't count out Jason Tatum, are fading away because it would be even more fun if those guys were in the mix. But I had the Sixers higher than most people did going into the season. I have a soft spot for Joel Embiid, and obviously they're being a lot more careful with his minutes and making sure, you talk about playing, not playing. Like, if they're playing him, they can't play him the way that a normal player is played. Tyrese Maxey is a freaking superstar.
Max is playing 41 minutes a game.
Yeah, he's a superstar.
Nick Nurse loves big minutes.
Yes. He's like Tibbs Jr. But and then you've got VJ Edgecombe, who is as advertised, and their roster is filled with, solid guys. So you've got these young stars, Embiid, George, 2 question marks health-wise with Embiid, not in terms of productivity. But I definitely don't think you should count the Sixers out. I had them, I think maybe 5th in the East, which a lot of people, again, were confused about. So, no, I'm excited about that team.
Look, I think Embiid, I said on my pod on Monday, hopefully they can bubble wrap Embiid until April, and who knows?
Yeah.
Right? Who knows? You never know. I don't think I would rule them out necessarily, but they aren't. They definitely aren't on the same level of some of those other teams. And I still think, like you mentioned, the Celtics fading this year. Yeah. True. Yes. As I'm recording, they're 7-7. They have the Nets tonight, Tuesday. They'll probably be 8-7. The Nets are horrific.
Yeah.
So the Celtics above 500 in all likelihood when people listen to this podcast.
they're not out of the picture. No.
And I'm intrigued by the fact that they list Tatum every day in the injury report. Jason Tatum, Achilles recovery, out.
Yeah.
There's going to be a day. The
Doubtful.
Celtics keep a lid on leaks.
Yes.
There's going to be a day in the middle of February, middle of March, or whenever it is, where it might just say questionable.
Doubtful. You gotta give us the doubtful first.
Maybe, unless you go straight to the questionable.
That's not. I'm a Grizzlies fan. I've never seen that in my life.
But that could drop someday. And then when that drops someday, that's going to hit hard.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the Celtics will be back in the finals conversation.
Yes.
So to me, like I look at like the poly market odds, the BetMGM's odds and all that for finals.
Yeah.
I see the Celtics like very, very low down there. Worse odds than the Clippers. Get out of here. I mean,
no.
Let's be serious. I'm not ruling out even the Celtics. That to my point, to get to the point about the Sixers, there's so many teams in the East that I'm like, you can make an argument for.
Yeah, and I didn't even mention Jared McCain when talking about them.
Yeah.
He's another young, bright star. Mm-hmm. So I agree. And with the Celtics, it's funny. I went to Boston. We'll talk about the Grizzlies later, but I went to Boston and watched the Grizzlies face the Celtics. And Peyton Pritchard and Derek White were not shooting well before that in this season. They were struggling. And I was like, I think that's the team we are now. We're the team that gets guys out of their slumps. And sure enough, they're back. Peyton Pritchard. I mean, you never worry with guys like that. They're going to be fine.
They'll figure it out.
But yeah, I completely agree. When I say the Celtics are kind of taking a back seat, it's not to even count them out because I do think the East is that interesting. They're just not one of the top interesting teams at this current second. But there's no teams like even the Raptors are interesting.
Yeah,
you know,
they're interesting. Not a contender, but interesting.
But interesting.
But interesting.
I'm such an East hater in the past, so it's exciting and rare that I'm like, wow, the East is more interesting to me than the West.
Really?
Season.
Why do you think that is? Because to me, the West is still the conference that I look at as like the champion's going to come out of this side.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So yes, I think the two best teams in the West are just worlds better than everyone else. And then I think the East, there's more teams that I'm like, oh, could they make a sneaky run? Because to me, it's so inevitable in the West who it's going to be.
Sure. The Thunder or Nuggets is what you're saying.
Yes.
And Rockets.
Oh, no, I meant the Grizzlies.
Oh, yeah, of course. Speaking about the West, some bad news or good news if you're a fan of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Bad news, the Clippers lose again on Monday. The Clippers are now 4-10 on the season, which gives them, as of today, a 26% chance of ending up with a top 4 pick. But guess what? The Clippers don't have their own pick. The Thunder have the Clippers pick, as we've talked about in this show. One thing I'll say, Molly.
Yes.
I can't imagine the Clippers going to be as bad as some of the bottom feeder teams in the league right now. The Nets, Pelicans, Wizards, and Pacers all have 1 or 2 wins.
Yeah.
Kings at 3-11, Mavs at 4-11, your Grizzlies, the Hornets, and the Clippers at 4-10.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the Clippers, once they get Kawhi back, even if he plays a third of the year, falling as far as some of those other teams. But we did see what happened last year. The 11th best odds go up to number 1, and that's where things are crazy.
Okay, well,
the Clippers don't look like a playoff team, though.
No, they don't. But I do want to give James Harden some credit because he's been really good despite them losing. And I also Norm Powell, like,
they lose him.
He was so important. I don't know. I struggle to understand the direction that they're going. It's like they're not contenders, as you say, but it does seem like James Harden is good enough to, of course, the playoffs are sometimes a different story with him. We don't know which James Harden we're going to get, but he is good enough to really contribute and help a team. So I hate to see him being sort of wasted. I love Zubats as well. So yeah, it's a weird one. Kawhi, also we can't just ignore that there's a lot of distraction happening. So I was higher on the Clippers last season in the postseason. I was like, you know what, that's my sleeper, and I was like, this is why you don't bet on the Clippers.
You and Michael Pina, the Clippers supporters always. Michael Pina over at the Ringer every year. Oh, talk myself into the Clippers.
I'm not even a supporter, but I just they had me. I don't know.
I mean, look, on paper you can look at the Clippers. It's always talk yourself into it when you look at the names on the paper. But I don't think they're as bad as 4-10. Yeah. I don't think they'll be as bad as 4-10 at the end of the year, but they don't look like a playoff team to me. Like I think
which is the worst thing to be when you're not.
Well, and you don't have any of your own picks. Yes. Like there's no. That's why, like you say, you don't understand the direction because it's like there's only one direction, and that's doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on this what they're building right now. And
which
so I think
why it doesn't make sense.
It's just like this will be a topic all year long unless the Clippers somehow get back into the playoffs. The fact the Thunder have their pick is just the most amazing thing. I just can't get over it. Every day I go to Tankathon and I have some fun clicking simulate lottery and see who moves up.
No.
And the fact that the Thunder could end up with the number 1 pick when they might exceed the Warriors' 73 wins.
We talked about Wemby like breaking basketballs. Sam Presti has broken the GM world. I mean, he has taken this new world where, free agency struggles and all of those things. And he has been like, oh, actually, here's what you do. You draft a guy, you draft another guy, you have 1 million picks and you just keep building. Oh, also you just like, they're so good that guys like Josh Giddey, who didn't fit on the team, we're not even looking like, oh, he's an all-star now. They got rid of him. No, I mean, they needed to. He didn't make sense.
Why would they trade Giddey for Caruso? Nobody's saying
because it's just like they have too many people. It's phenomenal. The way, and what's frustrating is you can't even be mad at it. It's like, because he's done it so correctly, the way they've built the team and just the way they play. I mean, I struggled for a bit because they really were what the Grizzlies wanted to be, and they just completely, they're not even the same stratosphere of team. And
not even close.
I can't even be mad anymore though, because they're so damn good. And it's truly, it's the same story every night when you watch them. It's like, you think, oh, maybe this team might actually beat them. And then it's like, oh no, they can just turn that extra gear on and make it so you can't score.
And without Jalen Williams.
Who was
without
an
all-D guy last year. It's just...
It's disgusting.
It really is one of the most masterful runs we've seen from a front office in any sport. It's just like not an exaggeration to say that when you can integrate AJ Mitchell and like a 2nd-round pick, out of Santa Clara, and then he suddenly looks like the most improved player of the year after barely playing at all last year.
Yeah.
And the fact that last year they're able to, go with a stretch without Isaiah Hartenstein, a stretch without Chet Holmgren, and they still managed through that and win 68 games. And this year they're without J-Dub on pace for 75 or 76, whatever it is at this point. It's just, they have so many guys. I forget who said it, but I saw somebody say, like, if you split the Thunder in half, both those teams would make the playoffs. Like, that's true.
Yeah.
It is true.
And it's like, as a Grizzlies fan, I talk so much about, rotations. Oh, this guy's out, so this guy needs him to be unlocked. But like you said, they just seamlessly flow into this offense and defense that works so well together. It's like watching their defense. It feels like you're watching ants just moving all together in unison.
Connected one brain, like that type of thing.
On a string, and you've got these 2 bigs who are like 7-footers, switching and guarding on the perimeter. It's like, what do you even do on teams where you're looking at one guy to be the answer? They have 7 guys that are the answer, and then when one guy's out, another guy's back. And J-Dub, I am such a fan of his game as well. So, like, when we're talking about how unbelievable they look, it's essential to mention they don't have their second best player, second best scorer. Obviously, Shad is amazing, but oh god, they are the post CBA version of the Warriors. They're like the Warriors were ethically built, but they're the fight against this new NBA. Oh, you can't build dynasties. You can't keep dynasties. Well, good luck.
Yeah,
they're doing it.
I mean, I think it's what Presti's done. I mean, look, we'll see how long it lasts. This team's still young, but like you just as easily could have seen this team come back this year and not do the whole kind of college style thing in post games, hanging around, having fun, water bottle shower, celebrations and all that. You can understand if they quote unquote grew up.
Yes.
But they still have that same vibe.
I don't care about that stuff.
But I'm just saying they still have that. I don't mean that as a negative. I'm just saying you could understand if they moved past that, if they retired it. But they still have that same personality and spirit. Yes.
It matters. Being friends matters. Like, enjoying playing with each other matters. It can take teams to the next level, just having that synergy, and they have it better than anyone.
And a willingness to sacrifice for somebody else on your side.
Of course.
And like knowing that might not be your night. Case on Wallace is going to get 40 minutes tonight.
Oh
Lou Dort, it's some night like AJ Mitchell, it's your night. J-Dub is going to be the guy playing off ball, taking spot up threes once he's back. Like there could be nights like that, that willingness to sacrifice for another guy. And that's on top of the talent, on top of the depth, on top of the elite coaching and all that, on top of the assets that Presti is sitting on in the front office. It is the chemistry aspect. It really is mind blowing. It does feel easy to say this team's going nowhere anytime soon.
I don't foresee that happening.
Anytime soon.
They're also just like, something about the greatest players is I knock on like every piece of wood ever, but something so impressive about SGA and Jokic is that they're healthy so often, and it matters. And that's what we've seen from them, and that's why they've been able to so consistently dominate. So, and
I think there's no guarantee they'll be in the finals again, in part because like how great the Nuggets are, how great Jokic is, what Houston could be in the postseason, who knows? But they're always going to be in the mix, exactly. And so I think it's really about, so if you're these other teams, especially in the East, like the Pacers went to a Game 7. Yeah. They went to a Game 7. They had an opportunity to take down OKC. Denver went to a Game 7 last year. This year in the Eastern Conference, the Pistons are at the top right now. They've won 10 games in a row now. So good news, Pistons. Jalen Duren looks like the most improved player of the year so far. Did you see the clip of him taking that like pull up off the dribble jumper? Yeah. I was like, oh my God, this is
adding
finisher.
Stuff to his bag. It's insane. I watched Duren at Memphis. He was there when I was there, and I was really high on him. He was my favorite player in the Penny era, and I want to put it on record here, like that guy is going to be a superstar. It doesn't even feel like a hot take right now, but first of all, I looked it up. He turns 22 actually today. So happy birthday, Jalen Duren.
He's only 22.
Exactly.
Crazy, yeah.
And just seeing the way he is able to, I am like the biggest fan of a big man, and a big man and a guard duo is the greatest duo you can have in basketball. Jalen Duren is as solid of a big man as you can get, and he's adding things to his game. He's, like you said, he's pulling up. He's got the handles. He obviously was a great lob finisher when he was at Memphis, but just the way he's able to move with the ball now, and it's scary. Like, people should be scared, and I'm really excited about that Pistons team.
I mean, I think there was a time maybe a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. I did a podcast focusing on the Pistons, and I was like, I'm starting to lose faith in Duren. I'm starting to lose hope in what he can be. And at the time, I look back at that, and it's like, it was fair. It was fair in the sense that like he was very inconsistent, very up and down. But now we're at the point with him.
He's 21, right?
He's 21, and he's like completely answered every question since then.
Yes,
and looks like an absolute star. Mm-hmm. Added to his game, bring consistency defensively. The beef stew Duren 2 big lineup is still excelling as well. And Cade Cunningham is taking a leap, and this is all like despite Jaden Ivey still not part of the mix for this team. But the Pistons, they also are still, I think, one of these teams you can talk yourself into for sure. They're the top of the East for a reason.
Absolutely.
But do you think they belong have they exceeded the Knicks, the Cavs, some of these teams as an East favorite, or are you not there yet?
I don't even like those conversations, because it's like we figure it out in the playoffs, we watch in the regular season, we see, you have to shout out Dennis Jenkins, who has stepped up in this role, as their guard.
Yeah. Talk about guys coming out of nowhere, right?
It's though things like that are so important, and then it's like you don't know, if that's going to last. I think he's earned himself a spot in the rotation. It's so remarkable seeing guys like him, seeing guys like Ryan Rollins, AJ Mitchell, like we talk about, these two-way players coming and carving out spots in their teams, a lot of the time due to injuries. And when you have an already solid core like the Pistons, and just one more rotation guy, one more solid piece can make such a difference. Duren, the age, Cade is unbelievable. Cade is a superstar. He just got the Nike shoe. Duren and him are going to be such a fun. Seeing the way Duren's able to play without Cade also should be so promising.
Mind-blowing.
To Pistons fans, and what they can do, like you say, the lineups with he and Stu, like that's exciting. Mm-hmm. I'm very high on this Pistons team.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't put them ahead of some of those other teams yet, but they're close. They're very close.
They gave the Knicks a good series, right?
They did. Yep, and they're a young team doing it for the first time. Let's move on to some bad news involving Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. Ja Morant's out. He's injured, and the Grizzlies aren't good. You wrote a story on Substack where you wrote, people need to check out Molly Morrison's Substack. It's been excellent to read. You wrote, I'm reading this word for word, you wrote, I often joke to my friends that the most toxic man in my life is my favorite basketball player. Ja Morant has the ability to bring me more pain and more joy than anyone. That isn't his fault. It's mine.
Yes. Yeah. It's, I go on to say that is a responsibility that I have bestowed on him. And that's what happens when, your franchise drafts its first ever superstar, like Memphis did with Ja. We're not talking about now, but Ja Morant at his best was clearly a superstar.
One of the 15 best players in the league.
I mean, 10.
Yeah. Well, Okay, Chris Vernon over here.
Oh, hey, we've got a job over here, but yes. What's your question?
Yes. I'm just curious for you to kind of explain kind of the story of that article, where it came from.
For sure. As a Grizzlies fan, the number one question I've gotten for years, I work at Bleacher Report, and I am an NBA person, who does not shed my fandom. It's why I'm here. I'm literally in the media space because of my fandom. And Ja is the question I'm asked. What do you think about Ja? It's so funny. The day I posted that Substack, 3 people in the office came up to me. So what do you think about Ja? And I was like, oh boy, do I got the article for you. But it's such a delicate thing because when you talk about players personally, there's like a line there where you don't know these people and you also don't, they don't owe you anything personally, right? And you don't want to try to be like, oh, this is how this person should act. You don't want to police their behavior, who they are. Again, you don't know them. But I just wanted to talk about Ja purely from the lens of a fan who has, after everything, still wanted the best for him. And I think that there's a lost art to loyalty in the league. It's a lot of people that might be fans of players forget what it's like when you're a fan of a small market team and somebody comes in and brings you that joy. Ja Morant came into Memphis. He had the signature shoe. He has Memphis tattooed on him. He loves Memphis. Meanwhile, and this isn't to diminish anyone, but you have Zion in New Orleans who there's always these stories, oh, does Zion want to be in New Orleans? Does he want to be in New York? And it's no one's responsibility to go that extra mile and be like, I am a New Orleans lifer. Like, it's purely extra. They don't need to do that, and Ja always did that. And Ja Morant, I always see Nuggets fans talking about Jokic. I'm so jealous of them getting to watch. Nobody is more of an expert on a guy's game than fans of that team. It's impossible to watch.
They watch every minute, every game, everything. They watch the press conferences. They watch literally everything.
So that's why that's always going to be the best person to talk about it. It's so easy to watch, every few games and talk about someone. But with Ja, like someone who has watched every Ja game, I mean, he has simply brought me more joy than any other player on what he has done. And I am going to believe in him until I have a reason not to. We can talk about his struggles now.
You don't have reason not to yet?
Okay. Let's rephrase. I want to ride it out. I want to ride it to the ground. Yes, basketball-wise, oh, Ja suffered, trade him. You need an identity. Like, at this point, I know I sound like a loser, but but at this point, expectations have shifted. And I also do feel like people are discrediting the sneaky rebuild the Grizzlies have maneuvered alongside
Cedric Howard, Zach Edey,
Jalen
Wells, yep.
They are building something. It's not this nightmare. And they also have picks in this draft. It's not ideal. And I think the Grizzlies GM has gotten a lot of flack for these 2 different directions he's gone in. But maybe part of that is him seeing maybe the window with Ja and Jaren isn't as promising. So let's see what we can do while also building for the future. Getting rid of Steven Adams, drafting Zach Edey. Injuries have plagued this Grizzlies team so intensely, and Ja Morant has suffered for 2 seasons now under an offense that was not built for him, and then injuries. And at a certain point...
And gunplay on
that
Instagram.
wasn't last season.
Well, about 2 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I said this in the article. There are things an NBA player can do that will make me no longer be a fan of them. That's not to be like, oh, who cares? Go wave guns on Instagram Live. Of course, I know that I hated that, of course. And also, you're going to be delusional when you're riding for your guy. I joked once, I hate guns so much. I'm very anti-gun. But like suddenly when I talk about Ja, I'm like, why do I sound like a Second Amendment activist? It's like, call me a homer, say like it's embarrassing that I'm riding with my team. I'm doing it. You draft a superstar, you ride it out. I don't think the grass is always greener. I mean,
it's okay to be a homer. But I think what you touched on, one of the things that I find when I kind of, see, I take the temperature of Grizzlies fans.
Yes.
The Grizzlies fans who don't blame Ja tend to blame Zach Kleiman. And it's like,
I don't blame either.
I think it's silly. I look at what Zach Kleiman's built. I think you hit the nail on the head with he's getting on a subtle rebuild with this roster with a lot of good young players. I mean, Vince Williams, really good, solid role player as well. Like, they have a lot of solid.
The year that him and Gigi Jackson were just like, wait, are these the best players ever?
Exactly. There's a lot of solid players behind these key names, Cedric Howard, Zach Edey, and Jalen Wells that we're talking about, where it's like, there's something here in the future with or without Ja Morant. Like, that's just the reality of it. And but I think with Memphis, Ja, you ask about like Trae Young and some of these guards, what's their value? There wasn't a lot of value out there for Fox. Not a lot of teams need a point guard.
Yeah.
So in all likelihood, Memphis is going to ride this out with Ja Morant.
Yeah.
And just hopefully he's able to find himself.
Can I just explain from a basketball purpose? Again, we talk about watching every game. Like, great players oftentimes can figure it out regardless of who's on the floor. But Ja is a player who thrives with a big man. And all season until last game, Zach Edey was hurt. Jock Landale, God bless his soul, he was doing the best he could. He's Jock Landale, right? He's not going to be the screener that Ja needs. He's not going to give Ja the space. You see Ja trying to go to the paint and they're crowding it because they can. They're not afraid. And that's another thing with, something he needs to do to elevate his game, which he has not done. There have been points where it felt like maybe it was coming, was develop the 3-point shot. He's struggled with that. It's gotten worse.
And on top of the at-rim finishing getting worse and lower frequency, it's like, to me, it's concerning.
It is concerning.
It's very concerning.
Look at the way, last season, he gets Edey after getting rid of Steven Adams, who him and Ja had like some of the best pick and roll numbers in the league. They were an incredible duo. That's why I talk about, Duren and Cade Cunningham. I love just the star guard, the big duo. But Zach Edey, you get him last season, but then you also bring in these assists. And this is where the GM does. I don't think the GM is blameless, by the way, but I don't think firing him is the solution. That's my take here. So I have spoken out against him and things he's done, which is natural. But last year they implement this offense, they bring in Noah LaRoche. I made a video about this because he's actually with the Heat now, and it's this offense.
And they're flourishing.
They were flourishing. Yeah, they're still winning. They've got injuries.
Lack of screens, no handoffs, just off-ball cutting, off-ball screening, and just constant motion and passing.
It's the 5 out. It's the wheel style that, just emphasizes the pace. It gets rid of the pick and roll.
Moving very fast.
Which is a great system to try out when it makes sense with your personnel.
But here's my thing, though. Didn't it make sense for everybody on the Grizzlies except for Ja Morant?
But you have to do an offense that makes sense. I mean,
Could Ja adapt? I think he showed a lack of flexibility and adaptability.
Why are you going to take away the system? At least, and they were running like the least pick and rolls in the league. It doesn't have to be this
by
extreme.
far the least.
It doesn't have to be extreme. So I'm not saying like, oh, never, never try that. But you can't just take away that and then the next season it's like, okay, well now Edey's gone. So now that at the end of the season they finally start to all of this said, the Grizzlies right now, Ja's hurt. They don't have a point guard. This is a team that has 4 point guards. This just describes the level of curse they are. No teams have 4 point guards. The Grizzlies do, and they're all hurt. Who is going to dribble the ball? Who is going to facilitate?
Nobody.
We're going to be seeing Cam Spencer, Vince Williams dribbling the ball. It's going to be a rough few weeks, and you're going to see people saying, oh, the Grizzlies are bad. Health has been the main character of this story, combined with some strange new offense. You catch me at a weird time. We can't talk about a team properly when they're not healthy. We'll see. It's tough out
Josh
here.
missed a lot of time, Molly, for an assortment of reasons, injuries included. This might just be part of it with him, and that's the thing. It's like with Memphis, 4-10 as of recording right now. To me, I look at the Grizzlies. I wrote an article last week for Yahoo where I talked about the Mavericks. It was in the context of Dallas. I was like, hey, you guys suck. Maybe you should also trade AD and get ahead on trade Kyrie because this year's draft class is so special. Oh, they definitely should trade AD. With Memphis, it's not the worst thing in the world to get another lottery pick this year. It's just not. Like, this draft class is loaded at Tuesday night. Again, like later tonight, you'll hear it the day morning after, but I'm going to see Kansas against Duke, Darren Peterson against Cam Boozer.
They're not trading Ja.
I'm not saying to trade. You don't need to trade Ja to suck. You suck anyway.
Yeah, we suck.
But, I think with Memphis, it's the type of thing having the 8th best odds or the 9th best odds.
Yeah.
Could be the thing, again, this subtle rebuild that you hit on.
Yes,
with
Cedric
Memphis.
Howard, you guys. Let's shift.
The steal of the draft. I've loved Cedric Howard.
Yes.
Chris Vernon and Target guy, he fell in love with Cedric Howard before the draft. And then it actually happened. With the Grizzlies take Cedric Howard. Mm-hmm. Tell me everything you love about Cedric Howard so far.
Oh my God, I could talk for an hour. This guy is the perfect basketball player. The perfect basketball player. He has everything you want. First of all, Memphis has been looking for that wing who can defend, who can shoot threes. He's doing that.
Make the right play as a passer.
Make the right plays. He's 6'5". He has an 8'10" standing reach.
7'2" wingspan. Massive.
Absurd.
Yeah.
He can just impact the game on both levels. He has such a good awareness of what's going on, and he is able to, he doesn't have necessarily he can't jump necessarily as high as some of these other guys, but he's getting there, and he's getting
elite rebounder positionally.
Yeah.
The feel that has that nose for the ball.
Yeah, and he can switch defensively, and he's been scoring at an elite level. He was very efficient in college, and just he can do everything well, and it's just going to be very exciting to see him develop. I feel like it's interesting. So Desmond Bane obviously was such a great shooter, and what we saw as Grizzlies fans, and this isn't, I love Desmond Bane. I think he works so hard, and I hate when you bring up things like the lack of wingspan, but he struggled versus J-Dub because when you're playing that suffocating defense in the playoffs, he can't see over him, right? And what we needed was someone who he's not the player Bane is now, but someone who could potentially turn into that player on both ends of the floor. They can do the things that Memphis needs come playoff time, and just fill those gaps. So I think that was a masterful move by Zach Kleiman, and I am very excited for Cedric Howard. This guy's incredible. I mean, he's a joy to watch.
He's gonna be a star.
Yeah.
Like we're in Memphis, like locally, he's definitely gonna be a star, and I think there's a chance he becomes a national star.
Yeah,
I just think there's a chance of that. Like at a minimum, he's gonna be a good player who does all the little things on the floor, plays the right way, hits threes, attack closeouts. At a minimum, he's gonna be a good player. At a maximum, I think he could be one of the 10, 15 best players in basketball. Like, that's the way I feel about Cedric Howard.
I mean, hey, I'm not stopping you.
The fact he's this good, this early, after not playing for a full year, that's mind-blowing to me.
It's one of those ones where teams slept on him because he didn't play
Had 6 games with a major shoulder injury, couldn't do workouts.
But if you read about him and if you watch him play, it's like, wait, this guy can do everything. There's no limitations.
And he's an A+ human. Listeners of my podcast, if they heard my interview with Cedric Howard earlier this year, it's like I'm talking to someone with like 70 years of wisdom. Like he's just so mature and just has such a bright head on his shoulders. I think, like I said, I think everything around Ja is right in Memphis. It's just Ja's going to figure it out. And I hope, people think I'm some Ja hater. Like, I'm a Ja realist.
I told people I was doing this podcast, and they're like, Kevin O'Connor.
I mean, I'm a Ja realist. When Ja was at his best,
I welcome Ja criticism. Yes. I am not abandoning, the side of the franchise superstar who has been screwed by, who I am shamelessly making excuses for. Absolutely. That's the thing. You can't get me with that. You can't get me with,
I spent 8 years with Verno. I know about shamelessly making excuses for the Memphis Grizzlies.
It's okay. Like, I'm not sitting here claiming to be not biased. I also enjoy all the other teams in the league and am able to speak about them. That's all that matters,
A little good news for everybody besides you. The Suns are better than expected. Yes. They're 8-6 on the season. They have the number 9 offensive rating, the number 14 defensive rating. I say bad news for you because the Grizzlies, I remember Verno said to me before the season, he's like, we got the Suns pick, Kevin. We got the Suns pick. It's like, oh, we'll see. Maybe Matt Ishmael will be right and they will be better than last season. So far they are. Shocking.
Yes. I just want to give the Suns a shout out. I did like a list of down bad fan bases going into the playoffs last year, and they were amongst the worst. They've been fun. They're way more fun this year. they've been a joy to watch. I have been watching them closely because, number one, I'm a Dylan Brooks fan. I'm very locked into his game. But number two, the pick situation. And I'm like, wait, hold on, they're winning. Why are they winning? And the answer is the ball is moving. The offense is not stagnant. And let's just say it, the defense is good. Finally, Phoenix, who is a team that has been mocked for so long for not having that defense, has a really strong defensive identity. Dylan Brooks is a big reason for that. They've got
Ryan Dunn. Mark Williams has had a good year so far.
Mark Williams, a guy that I was excited when the Lakers made that trade. And, you know, it's okay. Like, they're doing fine. Aiton's luckily been a positive for them. But Mark Williams is solid. I think health is the concern, but he's young. And when he's in there, it's promising. I mean, Devin Booker is a superstar that led his team to the finals. And I don't think this is a finals team. It's not a finals team, but it's fun. And that's really good for Suns fans. They've also got all these young guys that, like, don't even play, who I'm excited to see. Also, like, Tyus Jones, who I was so wrong about. I love Tyus. He was so great in Memphis, but I was like, oh, how do you get rid of him? And he just turned into this complete shell of himself. Gillespie's been good.
I mean, like, it's like you expect Tyus Jones to be the guy.
Yeah.
Then he goes to Orlando. He's also stunk there so far. But then Gillespie coming off the bench for the Suns this year replaces him. And it's like, oh, everything and more you hope Tyus Jones would be last year. It's so weird how things can work out that way in the league. And ultimately, like, I think with the Suns, they do feel like they went from a team last year that felt like it had no identity. Just a bunch of veterans smashed together and it didn't fit, didn't work. This year, with all the role players around Devin Booker, it feels like a team with identity.
Yeah, and the new coach.
New coach, Jordan Ott, who's been great. They're integrating a lot of motion and movement and pace with that Suns offense. Defensively, Dylan Brooks, your former guy in Memphis, I mean, look, he really struggled at the end of his tenure with the Grizzlies. I said at the time, and this is a really bad take, that I wouldn't want him on a league minimum. He's been very good since then. I mean, the Grizzlies came out with a statement saying they're not bringing him back.
Yes.
And that's how bad it was at the time.
It was horrible.
But, like, he's been good since then with Houston and now with Phoenix.
Yeah.
And he's part of building this new culture up for the Suns. And, you know, I've always, like, had a good relationships with Suns fans because I was like, oh, they're the bright future Suns many years ago when they were struggling. And I really was high on Devin Booker at a time a lot of people weren't. But, like, I think now I feel happy for them again because it's like they can feel like there's something there. I mean, like that.
There's joy.
What you described with the Grizzlies, with that kind of like that subtle rebuild, is sort of what's happened there when you talk about Ryan Dunn. You draft Kaman Malawat. You get a number of young guys, Kobe Brea, who hasn't played much yet, but a lot of solid young players.
Grayson Allen, also, I've been a huge believer in him. I mean, that's like the best shooter you could say in the league. You know, top 2, top 3, just pure shooter. He's incredible. Royce O'Neal.
He's having a big year, almost 20 points per game at this point.
Yeah, he's amazing. And there are questions with how Jalen Green will be integrated, but I'm more excited, I think. He'll add some of that explosiveness.
Could be good for him in this situation with Jalen Green.
I worry about Dylan Brooks because he's so excited, right? He's playing with this joy that he's like, they want me to shoot because like they don't have their number 2. They're number 2 guys, so I can shoot. So I'm like, when they give him the yellow light, what is that going to be? But no, he'll be good. I think he's got a lot to prove. Like you said, things ended really badly with Memphis. Another situation where I do think there's a lot of people to blame. I'm not pointing a finger to anyone specific with how that ended. I do think that he will not be returning under any circumstances was unnecessary. But yeah, I mean, he was providing again, he was my favorite Grizzly. He was the culture. He was the heartbeat. And he was also providing a lot of really loud noise at a time that we wanted it to be quiet. And it was very distracting.
You know, it's like with these culture guys, Dylan, you lose Dylan Brooks, you bring in Marcus Smart, didn't really get a chance to stay healthy.
No.
Going back to your Ja article, you mentioned in there that you have a video of Marcus Smart that you gatekept, that you did not release to the world. Can you tell me about this video? Even if you never released the video, what happened? Why did you gatekeep this video?
I was sitting behind the Grizzlies bench, and they were getting destroyed. And Marcus Smart goes on this legendary cinematic almost speech. Think like David Fizdale, take that for data power, but just a rant against your team, being like, you're all ass, virtually, just a lot of F-bombs, it was powerful, it was intense, and I'm right there in a position just recording it, and you could hear everything he's saying. And it's funny because you could see, like, someone got a video from like 15 rows back, and you could see me, like, people knew I was there just like this, and so people were like, oh, like, where's the video? And listen, I am not in the business, like, my integrity is I am not a journalist. I have no journalistic integrity. I'm a writer, I'm a creator, I'm a storyteller, I'm a fan. And I will always choose, like, there's a lot of things I don't do, things I don't post that could go viral. Why would I be bringing that into the space? Why would I be bringing a video of my team getting humiliated that only I have the power to do, that would embarrass my team to go viral? Because it would have gone viral. It would have gotten aggregated by those accounts. I don't care. It's not important to me. And yes, so that video has been seen by, I don't send it to anyone. I'll show it to people sometimes, but it's a really good video. And you know how the internet is, memes, and that would be a reaction video. Like, he's yelling, "This is effing horror. This is effing embarrassing." I'm not giving that to the internet.
You know what I've seen?
Yes.
Not that video. I've seen long time ago. Someone showed me a photo of Brian Colangelo in a gym reading the story about him with the burner accounts. It was a photo taken.
Shout out to Adam Aronson, Sixers Hour.
It was a photo taken of him reading that story at a gym. You could see him looking at his phone with the cover photo of that Colangelo has burner account story at a gym.
That is
and that's I've never I do not have the photo on my phone. It was shown to me by somebody else.
Yeah.
But boy, what a picture.
That's, you see, and that person had their reasons, you know? It's like people are so focused on, like,
to be clear, I would post the photo if I had the photo.
No,
but I didn't take it.
There are reasons to post things. There are reasons not. It's so easy to, like, I want to say to the Grizzlies, like, do you see what I've done for you? Like, I swear, like, I joke, like, I am their PR.
Say that to John. Do you see what I've done for you, John?
I am like a PR manager. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's funny. I chose to.
I understand.
It's
the Grizzlies fan. Did you keep it? Is it like in a folder? Okay, so you didn't delete it. Okay, just curious. You wrote another article on your Substack. The lessons of Nikola Jokic. The best basketball player in the world is hiding from you. Why we struggle to articulate Nikola Jokic's greatness. And it was about kind of the topic of how people say, like, Jokic doesn't love basketball.
Yeah.
Okay, can you describe what you wrote in that article?
Yes. I get so frustrated when people talk about Nikola Jokic, who, by the way, is the most fantastic basketball player in the world. Because I feel like people don't understand that not everything is a persona, right? This I don't care about basketball gimmick that he puts on. First of all, of course he cares about basketball. He just doesn't care what you think about him. And the most perfect example of that is he has no social media accounts, which is, as I say in the article, it's a form of rebellion in the current era to be the greatest player and also have no social media accounts, to prefer existing, off the grid. He has said, when I'm done, I want to be gone. I don't like people taking pictures of me. And I just think that it does a disservice to everyone to act like it's not possible for somebody great to not exist for you and for clicks and to be great. And I just really appreciate who he is and what he is, but the league wouldn't be fun if it was every superstar was a Jokic, right? It's not that he's better in that way. I just think that there is a huge lack of it's these bored, he just wants to be with horses. Oh, horses are his favorite thing. Of course they are. Like, he can love horses more than he loves basketball, but that doesn't mean he doesn't love basketball. He's not sickly devoted to basketball in the way that it's all he does. It's all he cares about. He wants to, when he's done playing, he wants to be a broadcaster. He wants to disappear. He wants to play. He cares. You see how engaged he is. He's literally so locked in that he's got this beautiful gift of being able to see everything on the court. Even on the offense is what gets talked about, but even on defense, it's like where he isn't, he's notoriously not as good, but you see him
high bar to be as great defensively as he is offensively.
You see him just breaking apart the court. He sees things before they happen. And I love everything about his existence. How, I think I mentioned in the room, it's like he plays so gracefully, but he trudges into rooms. His whole existence is just, it's an anomaly. And I think that it's really, really cool to have a player that breaks this barrier of what we expect from the greatest stars, especially in a social media era.
I think also with Jokic, part of it, I've had conversations with people like, that have been in and around him and around Denver and all that. They're like, he loves basketball. And like they say, like, what he really loves most is competition.
Yes.
He loves winning. He loves competing. He loves the feeling of improving.
Yes.
And I think like that kind of, like, if you put a Venn diagram up of like horse racing and basketball, like there's a huge overlap with the competition and the team building aspect.
You can't be that great if you don't love it, and if you don't want to win. It's
impossible.
You can't. It's just people don't. It's like, because of how obsessed we are with basketball, it's almost like you need them to be more obsessed vocally and to validate this fan experience. But in reality, like, people, also, like, I think a lot of that is like very American. This. Everything is an ad. He's selling us. They're constantly selling us things, and he's just more nonchalant.
He wants to go home to his family.
He wants to go home and
his horses.
I'm just such a fan of his, and I also, everyone wants everything. Like, some of these conversations about guys are just frustrating. I don't understand why we have to oppose everything. Just who someone is. Even Jason Tatum. I hated all the, like, jokes are one thing, like, there's funny jokes, but even this idea
like the Colin Coward, and I shut my eyes and I visualize Tatum. I see nothing.
Yeah. It's like, let the guy,
that was a legendary take.
The guy be nice, uncool, and love his son. Like, that's okay. I'm not saying he's actually uncool, but there people need these stars to be something, and it's like, let them be themselves. Whatever that version of themselves is, that's great. That's perfect. That's, like, we don't want these stars to all be the same, have this effortless swagger. It's okay. Kawhi's awkwardness, Jokic's love of horses, and the way he answers questions with, I say in the article, it's like a bored tone, but it clashes with, like, he's really thinking through what he's saying. He cares. And because a lot of the questions asked by media are silly.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, Jokic, he loves basketball. He doesn't love everything around basketball. He loves playing the game. He hates doing his post-game media availability.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't like the things that basketball fame brings.
Yes.
But he likes everything else around it. Like,
exactly.
I think,
fame.
Yes, exactly. And I think with Jokic, aside from, like, his, like, required finals interviews and all that he did that year, I'm pretty sure I was like the last person to get a long form interview with Jokic. It was during, I think, the 16-17 or 17-18 season. I wrote an article at the time, Jokic and the Funky Bunch, and I got like 45 minutes with Jokic. And I remember asking him about kind of his like blossoming stardom. And he was like, "Oh, I don't want that. I don't want any of that."
Right.
Like, this was before it all happened. And at the time, he was like, "No, I want nothing to do with that."
If this guy cared about winning these awards, he would be winning his 5th this year. I mean,
if he did media to get his name out there,
if he was trying to push himself, and it's
Nuggets PR would love if Jokic did more. I'll tell you that.
But see, I don't know. I think it works, and you don't even hear about. Of course, he wants the team to get better, but you never hear the threats of, oh, is he going to leave? It's. I'm sure he's contributing and making these decisions. Oh, this is who I'd like to play with. Of course he is, but he's not like, oh, if you don't do this, I'm going to force my way out. I don't know. I think that, again, he's a superstar. He's the best player in the world who doesn't chase or even want fame, and people don't know how to grasp that. And it makes them, it frustrates them. He doesn't fit into the box that we desire superstars to be in. So
now, I think if people are, as you wrote on your Substack, very online, they likely know who Molly Morrison is. There's probably some people listening to this podcast who aren't on social media who are like, who's Molly Morrison? I don't know this person. Tell me about your background. I know you started with like an anonymous Grizzlies account. When was that? How old were you when you started that?
So I was 12 years old, 13. You're supposed to be 13 to make a Twitter, an X Twitter. And I fell in love with the Memphis Grizzlies. It was during Grit and Grind. It was Zach Randolph, Marcus Saw, Tony Allen, Mike Conley, and I am from Memphis. And my friends at school were tired of Molly Morrison live tweeting every Grizzlies game. So I was like, you know what, fair enough. So I started this account called Made in Memphis. It was a Grizzlies fan account. And here's the thing, 12-year-old Molly had never played basketball. She did not know basketball. She didn't know what a pick and roll was. She loved the vibes. She loved watching Zebo bully his way in the paint. She didn't even know what that meant, but she loved it. It was the feelings that I fell in love with, the joy that it could bring to a city, the way it could bring everyone together, the way a team could just bring out the best parts of a city and of humanity by bringing an entire city together to rally around this group of guys who loved representing them, especially the intimacy of a small market fandom where it's kind of this little secret when you're going on these runs. And I fell in love with it. And from then on, I tweeted on Made in Memphis, which was an anonymous account, which is hilarious because I unintentionally did a very fascinating social experiment, right? I never tried to be a man. I never pretended to be a man. But by simply being an account that talked about basketball, everybody assumed I was a man. And
95% male following for me. It's mostly men on social.
Yeah. And shout out to everyone that follows me, but shout out to my women followers. I love you guys. Because that's who I'm doing it for. You know what I mean? And so exactly, it got to a point where the account had become the most followed fan account in Memphis anonymously, and which meant 8,000 followers at the time. Of course, that's changed, but this was 2018, 2019, and I decided, who is this serving me being anonymous? I need to tell people that. I would get people saying, "Hey man, love your work, hey man," and I was like, I need to tell people not only am I young, 18, but I've been a girl. I was literally a teenage girl this whole time, and now a woman. And I did this reveal, and it blew up locally. I didn't expect it. It's so funny because this whole time I was like, oh, I want to work in sports media. But in this unintentionally launched that career, if not right out the gate, it gave me but I was so naive to what it would do. And it so came from a place of like, hey, I'm like, this account's been my baby. You don't even know who I am. Let me share this and be like, I am a girl, a woman. And it, I didn't even tag my personal account in the tweet. I wasn't even like, go follow me, but people started to follow me, and I started to post, under my own name. And of course, I started to deal with a lot of the bull that women deal with online, especially as a woman who is young. I'm still young, but when you're 18, 19, you're a little more reckless with what you're saying. You're not thinking, okay, like maybe if I make this slight critique on this team, I will have 100 fans calling me names. Like, it's like now I think about these things, but it opened me up to this world, and it really taught me, because I was protected during the most vulnerable years of my life by this anonymity, and it taught me a lot about how life is existing as, someone who is perceived to be a man on the internet versus a woman. And yeah, now Made in Memphis, I decided to just say goodbye. I now tweet under my own name about the whole league. Of course, Grizzlies is my focus.
You're working
my
at BR
specialty.
and all that
yes,
now too, yeah.
And I am working at Bleacher Report. I'm a associate producer there, and we're creating NBA content. That is my full-time job. I love it. I was doing social first for Bleacher Report, and now my newest thing that I'm doing alongside all of that is writing on Substack.
Your Substack's been very good.
Thank you.
I didn't know you had those writing chops.
No,
in you.
that's what's funny. It's like,
been very good to read.
Thank
a lot
you.
of good stories. The Jokic one, I think, was my favorite.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You've done a good job on those.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I writing has always been my biggest passion. I write a lot of fiction.
I guess you have to write a bit in order to
be good on Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and it feels so good to be doing that publicly, and I'm just excited about where that's going to go. And it's for me, it's this thing that I'm doing for me, which feels really good.
You said fiction?
Yes.
Oh,
yes, but it's cool because I can blend that style. Like my dream is to write a feature story on Kevin Durant. I have the concept. I want to do it about the internet. I already have so much of it written. I'm manifesting going to happen.
You just need his voice.
Yes, I need his voice. It's what's missing. But feature writing is my favorite form of sports writing, because it's essentially storytelling, and it gets into the humanity in the stories behind what you're seeing on the basketball court, and it makes what you're seeing more interesting. So yeah, I
just go to get a credential to a Rockets game and walk up to him after a game. Say, hey, KD, don't go through PR.
It'll happen when it's supposed to. But
Don't go through PR for KD.
yes,
You just walk up to him and ask. That's what you're gonna have to do.
Yeah, I have a feature story, my first one, NBA feature story, coming soon on my Substack that I'm very excited about. And yeah, subscribe. You're doing such a great job plugging it. It's fun. I like to think that I'm bringing, a unique voice to the NBA media space. So.
Well, Molly, I appreciate you joining me today.
Thank
People can
you.
check out Molly Morrison Substack. You're all over social media. You
Yes.
just Google the name. You'll find it on whatever platform you like using. Molly, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.